Yes! Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your travel god of extreme, Peter Joseph here for video number 2. On your Wednesday evening, now Wednesday night, December the 3rd, 2025. Thank you for watching this video right here on the Peter Joseph YouTube Wrestling channel, youtube.com/Peter Joseph. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit that subscribe button down on pants, otherwise known in the description box below. Subscribe to my other channels. All the links are in the gobbledygook in the description box as well. Leave a comment on the video if you like, but if you don't, if you leave stupid comments by you get sent to the Shadow Realm. Satan and Ozzy will eat your soul, and then have some birthday cake, because it's Ozzy's birthday today. So happy birthday to my metal dad, Ozzy fucking Osbourne. But if you don't like that, Ozzy will eat your soul and have more of his humongous birthday cake. But I digress. Share the video all over the internet. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to tap and slap that bell, turn on all notifications, because if you don't, well, you're pretty much SOL, and, well, you know what that means. If you don't know what it means, Ozzy will tell you. That's, pretty much it. And if for newcomers, don't forget, if you're thinking about subscribing, please do. And when you do subscribe, as we say in the business, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, grab a nice, tasty, cold one. Put your feet up and enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You know, well, too bad. Simple as that. Alright, we got AEW Dynamite coming up in a little bit. So, check it out. Check out my Ozzy tribute video for his birthday today over on my Metal God channel. Link down below in the gobbledygook. If you missed it, then go to my Metal God channel. That's pretty much it. Alright, right now, everything I'm saying right now is happening right now. What happened then? You missed it. You missed it if you were here like 5 seconds ago. But anyway, on this cold Wednesday night, right here on the Peter Joseph channel, I'm Peter Joseph. You knew that already. It is time for your late and out-of-date NXT review for last night, December the 2nd, 2025, and we're back at home base in Nickelodeon Studios at the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. Alright, a little bit different commentary team this week because Booker T's still on vacation. Anyway, so we had the man with a creepy jacket, lots of candy, that's Vic Joseph, and Corey Slave. And that's pretty much it. Alright, this is the go-home show before the Saturday night's Deadline event, to be highlighted by the men's and women's Iron Survivor matches to see who will face the men's and women's heavy champion of the world. Speaking of that, we have Femi, the man from Wakanda. He will be taking on Absolute Ricky Starks for the World Heavyweight title. And a couple more matches were made last night for the event on Saturday, which should be a long event, probably be a 3-hour show because the Iron Survivor matches itself take about an hour or so. That's with the introductions and then, you know, the first 2 guys coming out, and then, you know, you have to wait about another half hour for everything to finish. Alright, so we got that. So we started off the show properly with the women's Iron Survivor participants in the ring. We got Ava Raine, who was pretty much everywhere last night. Shows you how much Dwayne is such an influence. You know, her dad and everything. Alright, so we got Lola Vice, looking hot, the Western Surfer Girl, Soruka, the Evolve Women's Champion, Kendall Gray, Big Mama Pump, Jordan Grace, and we also had Mrs. Kaylani Jordan. Alright, so the summit, you know, was what it was. You knew there was going to be chaos near the end. There was. Soulga thinks everyone, you know, everyone should see her as being great, even though she's had some issues as of late. Jordan Grace says, I have the experience winning and she'll do it again at Deadline. I think she won it last year. I could be wrong. Lola Vice tells Jordan to shut up! Pretty much. Or, in her terms, cállate la boca! And then Kendall Gray says, I'm the only person who's already a champ here in this very ring. Uh-oh. And then Kaylani barely got anything out because the fans were booing her out the building. Says, I don't want to hear from you, Kendall, because the challenge is innovative and electrifying. Nice little term for, Ava there, which describes her as well. And she says, you other four are just stand-ins, I'm the standout, I'm the standard bearer, blah, blah, blah. And then Fatal Influence comes out, the the Speed Champion, Fallon Donkor Don Henley, along with Lainey Reed and our NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane. She comes out, they come out. JC cuts like another one of those epic shoot promos, brother. Want to shoot, pretty much. Brags about her skinny waist, but an epic body, and insults everybody, saying Lainey's like the flavor of the month, this and that, and she could run it back with Lola and Jordan, but the result would be like, joking, and she's like, hi girl, to Kaylani, and says, oh right, you actually have a spine now, but you don't have a title. And then Kaylani's like, well, I would have that title if it wasn't for this meathead over here. Jordan Grace, meathead, what do you, this ain't All in the Family now, meathead, This ain't 1978 now, come on. Get with it, you weren't born then. But you were born with Maybelline, but I digress. So then Kaylani and Jordan have a cat fight! And Ava Rain's trying to break it up. You're right, that's gonna work. And then everybody else beats each other up, but Sol Ruka, Kendall Gray, and Lola take out Fatal Influence, and we got a 6-woman tag team match coming up later. Joy! Teddy Long is always, step away, player. If you don't like that, you're gonna go one-on-one with The Undertaker! Pretty much. Alright, so we get that. Then we get... say his name, he appears, we believe in Joe Hendry, Average Joe, below Average Joe these days, and Thea Hale, the resident crazy bitch, next to Tatum Paxley, of course. Alright, we see a video from early in the day. They're rather happy with what's going on, even though they lost to Chelsea Green, our Madam President, and Ethan Page, the fake as fuck Canadian, for the CMLL tag team titles. And then we get Stacks Mahomes and his hot, now soon-to-be wife, Ariana Grace, that's Santino's daughter, looking amazing. They come in, they insult them, and guess what? We got a match coming up between Ariana Grace and Thea Hale. Joy! Alright, we got that. But before we get to that match, Ava tells security to keep Kaylani Jordan and Jordan Grace, apart. That's gonna work. And, then next up is Fatal Influence, who are going to be in the 6-woman tag. That's basically it. And we move on with that. Alright, so, kind of chaotic start to NXT, but finally we get to the first match of the night after talking and chaos. Because a little less talk, a lot more action right here on my show. And yes, my ex-girlfriend copyrighted that. But I get to say it because we made it up too. She said it, but we basically made it up, but I did the liner for her for our radio show back in the day. She wasn't on the show a lot. On the phone lines, yes, but in the studio a couple times. Rosa was on my show a lot on the phone, never in studio. I tried, but it didn't work. Because she, we were dating at the time, so it would be a little bit, it was a little bit hard for us to, meet up and then whatever. Because we weren't living together until 2010, so, not here, but in in the boondocks in Manhattan, Washington Heights, for a little while, and then we moved here like 2011, right around when Sandy hit. So maybe I think it was a year after Sandy hit. Actually, I forget. But anyway, we've been here for a long time in Brooklyn, New York. But pretty soon, we won't be here that much anymore. That's that. Alright, then we get the Dia Hale and Ariana Grace under 3 minutes suckfest. Did I say under 3 minutes suckfest? Pretty much. Stacks Mahomes at ringside along with Joe Hendry. They go at it. Get a little fight near the end. And after that distraction, Dia Hale slaps on a Kimura and Ariana Grace tapped out. That's pretty much it. Dia Hale gets the win and I didn't give a fuck. There we get that. Alright, then we get to another video from earlier in the week. Chase U! Almost run over OTM, Lucius Price, and, Bronco Nima and Lucius Price of OTM with their car. It looked like they, freaking, Cale Dixon and, Osiris Connor. They almost mowed him up. Almost put him in the mud, basically, ran him over. Looked like they were driving in one of those, those cars that drive itself or some shit like that. Anyway, and then Mr. Chase comes out and starts yelling at them. He's like, oh, you almost killed him, you idiots! And then OTM says, if this happens again, it's on sight. And if Chase doesn't even know what the fuck that means, Mr. Chase. Well, he's a professor, he knows everything, so he knows what that means. We got a match with them later on in the show, which didn't go Chase U's way, but we knew that was going to happen, so a little squash match later on. Then we go to Ava Rain's office. We see the men's participants, well, minus Dion Lennox of Dark State. So we have Bouncy Javon Evans, the X-Division champion Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, and Miles Oham Ozzy Osbourne. We got the 8-man tag team match in the main event. They're ready for Dark State. Ava says, well, it's going to be a match involving them for the Iron Survivor Challenge advantage. So she's like, well, whoever gets the win gets to choose where in the match he can come out as. He can come out first, he can come out last, he can come in the middle, like not in the middle of that, like Bill Alfonso would say. So that's a pretty big, incentive for the men. So, and if Dion wins, he can do whatever he wants to. So, we got that. So as she's explaining these rules per se, Robbie E or Robert Stone, he comes in with a box that he already opened up for Ava, and she dumps it, and it looks like coal, like it's almost Christmas time, in 3 weeks from tomorrow is level 49 and Christmas. So Ava gets a little Christmas present, and it looked like coal. I thought it was like black paper, all chopped up. People saying it was my cousin Tony D's hat, all chopped up. We'll get to him. He's back. Let's talk about him in a little bit. So we got that, and we move on. Alright, so then we go back to the ring with Josh Briggs and his smoking skull jacket taking on Tavion Heights. Wasn't anything right home about. Briggs gets his foot on a rope after a belly-to-belly suplex from Tavion. So, goes for the cover, Briggs got his foot on the rope, and Tavion thought he won. Then the referee's like, no, foot on the rope. Tavion starts yelling at the referee long enough for Briggs to hit a clothesline from hell. And he gets the win, and I didn't give a fuck for that match. I mean, most of NXT last night was kind of mid. That's that. But then we get to something actually interesting. The Cuckling come out. We have Sean Spears, Nico, and Bookie Hogan 2.0, Izzy Dame. They come out. Izzy gets on the mic. She's like, I get why you guys love Tatum so much. and then the audio cut off because the fans are chanting, "Shut the fuck up!" or something negative that the CW11 cut off. You know, you gotta pay those FCC fines, you know, can't do that. Because it's a local channel. Not on, basic, not on basic cable, it's local TV. So, can't curse. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Easy's like, I wasn't wild on Tatum turning her back on the women who pulled her out of her terrible place. Tatum was known as a little weirdo freak, and I gave her confidence, but it felt like Tatum didn't want that, or didn't think that us, the cuckling, were good enough for her. Tatum won the belt because I allowed her to, and then when I wanted my title shot, Tatum ignored me. And basically, this week, we're gonna face off at Deadline, so that's gonna be one-on-one. And Izzy says, I have one final lesson for you. And then, on cue, Tatum Paxley appears on the Tron. Her hair's all wet. She has I think it was like 4 stools. I was like, where are you? In the fucking boiler room? Sure. Or somewhere in the back. So she tells Izzy that you took everything from me, and at Deadline, I'm gonna make you feel my pain. That sounds like a Tommy Dreamer reference. Or really a Beulah McGillicuddy reference. When Tommy went into the hotel room, he goes in and Beulah was naked and she's like, Tommy, I feel your pain. And then Tommy's like, get out. And then they banged. Basically, he's like, get out. I'm gonna go bang this hot naked chick. I'm gonna take her to the extreme. Oh, he did. That's why he's still with her. And he has like 3 kids. Bastard. Hey, he could have got with Kimona Walalea, too. I'm like, shit, he probably did. Had a nice 3-way dance. Now, I have a 3-way dance just by myself with and Kimona Walalea. Shit. And Francine. Or anybody, Mina. Just throw Mina and come on, Mina, come here. I love you a long time. We get that. Alright, so we got that. Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley one-on-one. See how that goes. Alright, then we see the rest of the Surfer Girl, So Ruka. She apologized to her so-called bestie, Daria. Not Diarrhea, Cha-Cha-Cha. I mean, Delta, for not being there last week when she basically got screwed by Fatal Influence. Not once, but twice in that same match. So Delta says, well, I won't go out there with you, this week. This week, I'm not here this week, but the rest of I'm not going to go out there and do a 6-woman tag. I'm just going to not really give 2 fucks. And then her and Kendall Gray kind of got into it a little bit, and I think Soul's like, oh yeah, I got to get ready for my match. And then she just my girl Maddie Winkowski and Soul just get Kendall out of there before Delta was about to annihilate her. Shit. So, they're planting those seeds. And we get that. Alright, then we get a video explaining the Iron Survivor match. First 2 members come out. And then the next 3 people come out every 5 minutes until all 5 people in a ring. And first person with the most points get the number 1 contendership. And if you lose by pinfall or submission, the loser goes into the penalty box for about 1.5 minutes. So it feels like the King of the Mountain match without the ladder. That's what it is. Something they stole from TNA, but, they kind of innovated it a little bit. We get that. Alright, then we get the Fatal Influence taking on Kendall Gray, Lola Vices, and So Ruka. It was a pretty decent match. 11 minutes, a little over 11 minutes. Getting to the end, come back from break. Kendall flips her way out of trouble. Gets the hot tag to Lola Vices. Comes in and cleans house and shakes her ass. Caliente. Sexy running hip attacks in the corner. Oh, Booker T would have had a field day. And then everything breaks down. A springboard blockbuster takes So Ruka down. A double running knee to face gives JC a near fall with Lola Vice had to make the save, and then Sol Ruka gets up with a slingshot X Factor, I think to JC, then she snatches her soul! 1, 2, 3, Sol Ruka gets the win over the NXT Women's Champions. So is that foreshadowing? I doubt it. I think Sol will have... There's going to be like a tie between her and maybe Kaylani or Jordan Grace or Lola. It's going to be a tie, and Jordan's about to go for the pin, and then Delta's going to come out and fuck everything up. Or Sol wins, and then at New Year's Evil, Sol Ruka's going to get screwed by Delta, and then they're going to fight at Vengeance, most likely. So I think JC will hold that belt until probably stunned to the pose and deliver. So we got that. Alright, gonna fire up TBS. And we're about to be ready for Dynamite! As, what movie is this? I don't even know. Oh, the big, well, it's a commercial. The Flash. Well, it's not the Flash, it's, the Big Bang Theory, and Sheldon's dressed up as the Flash. Goes, like, speeds all the way up to the Grand Canyon. And then he just zooms out of there. I think he goes back to his house. Yep, goes right back to his house. And then changes. Oh, well, it was just a dream. Leonard's like, oh, what? Okay. That's a great show. Alright, so Sol Ruka gets the win for her team in the 6-woman tag, and that's pretty much it. Alright, Dynamite has started. The pyro is going off. We are live from the Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indiana, wherever that fucking place is. Then we move on. And that's that. Alright, let's get back to NXT before we finish up. After the match, Delta comes out, spears the hell out of Kendall Gray. Though we all know if she was targeting her or she was targeting Sol Ruka. I don't know. So, we see what happens with that. Tony Baloney in the ring, my good buddy. Slick back hair. 60, almost 70-year-old dude. Surefire Hall of Famer. Like Jim Ross. By God! Alright, so, bringing out Samoa Joe again. Like, what was this, last week? Alright, so Samoa Joe by himself, not with the Ops. The double champion that he is. So he comes out, Joe! He's probably got a date with, the Hangman, Adam Page. And, Swerve is, in the picture, too. Let's see what he has, what Joe has to say. And we get that. Alright, so Delta, I don't know if she's targeting Kendall Gray, because they had an argument in the back, or Sol Ruka. So I was like, what the fuck you doing? We get that. Alright, NXT Anonymous shows us Javon Evans talking to Ricky Starks. Both ready to win at Deadline, though Javon teases that he's coming after the belt. I'm interested, so we'll see what happens with that. Alright, then we go to Dark State, Dion Lennox and company, Cutler, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugar. Dion gives the belt to Saquon Sugar, and then we see Femi, he comes in, and him and Dion Lennox have a little, reunion. And Dion's like, remember when we talked a few months ago about this very moment? So he's like, I'm gonna face you. I want to face you at New Year's Evil. That's foreshadowing, I don't know. And Oba then tells him, don't get ahead of yourself, because I'm the Hula from Wakanda. Pretty much it. Eddie Kingston just came out. And he's facing Joe next Wednesday night at Winter is Coming. He has a Trash Pandas shirt on, whatever that is. Is that the New York Yankees jacket? Or jersey. So basically, Joe's like, everyone's barred from the ring, and he kicks out Tony Baloney. And he slowly gets out of the ring. You son of a bitch. You know. Tony could throw down with anybody if he wanted to. But he's now ancient right now. Somebody will take a punch and he'll fall down and they won't get up. So, we get that. Alright, so we'll see what happens with Dion and Oba. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, then we get to OTM and Chase U of Kale Dixon and Uriah. Almost said, why am I saying Osiris? Uriah Connors. He comes in off the hot tag, cleans house. Tendo DDT gives him a near fall. Bronco Neiman gets sent to the outside with a springboard stunner. And then back in the ring, we're going to assisted sit out Alabama Slammer. Nice. By OTM, they pin Uriah Connors, put him in the mud, as Vic Joseph would say. So, we get that. What is Joe talking about penguins and the crowd? Something about winter's coming, which is going to be in Wales, so they're going overseas for that shit. We get that. Alright, so OTM pins Chase U, and I didn't give a fuck. Alright, then we're going to look at Ethan Page, against Mr. Iguana! And Yeska, with Yeska, and Triple A last month, it was before, Load of Ice, well, I think it was around the time of Load of Ice, and then we're tag teaming and shit. Anyway, so we get that, and then we see Ethan Page tries to leave the building. Ava Rain stops him and says, hey, you got a title defense coming up. And Ethan's like, well, against who? I mean, who are you gonna give me this time? And then we see Yeska and Mr. Iguana show up, and Page is like, ah! Gets out of the car, and runs away like a little bitch, and then Mr. Iguana steals the car! He goes, see you Saturday, S.A.! He steals the car, and Ethan Page looks at Ava, and he's like, what are you doing? Did you set me up? Oh, I didn't set you up. But you think I set you up? He's like, call the cops! And then Ava's like, oh, what am I going to tell the cops that the lizard stole your car? That was funny. I fucking marked out. I popped for that. That was funny. So now, it's official that Ethan Page will defend the Canadian national title against Mr. Iguana. Is Mr. Iguana gonna win? No. I hope, but he's not. We move on. Alright, then we get another video from my good buddy Shiloh Hill, doing his whole dark web gimmick and backstory. This week, he talks about getting to eat raccoon, which tastes like chicken, at Thanksgiving. Talks about a Thanksgiving race from when he was a kid. He got lost in the forest, went into survival mode. Wolves were coming around, and he thought he was fighting for his life, but the wolves saved him. He's like, where's my wolves? And, pretty much changed things for him. Helped him on LFG, where the Undertaker, the goat of old goats of the modern era, fired him up by telling him to take his opponent's souls! But when are you going to see him in the ring? On NXT, not in LFG. I don't know when we're going to see him, his first actual match in NXT, but we got that. Joe and Eddie Kingston, going back and forth. Talks about homicide and 187. Blat! 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 LAX. I think talk about their Ring of Honor days. I think they did. I wouldn't be put it past Eddie Kingston. Almost said Eddie Guerrero. Sorry, Eddie. Oh, it's okay, I say. But you remembered me. Okay. Cool. Anyway. So, Eddie's like talking about, why am I such a hothead? Why do I talk and scream so much? Because, it's like, because I got something to say. Talks about respecting the old Joe, but the new Joe he doesn't respect. Got that fighting spirit. Showed the world what it meant to be a real heavyweight champion. Yeah, almost 2 years as champion, Ring of Honor, way back when. I was there for the tail end of it. 2006. And he brings up Hook, Joe getting in his head. It's like old school guy sees a young kid, what's up? Shit like that. Alright, we get that. Alright, so good promo from Shiloh. I like this little backstory, and, then he goes crazy. So, we got that. Alright, then we get a Deadline rundown, and the end of the show. 8-man tag team match, Joe Hendry, Leon Slater, Javon Evans, and Miles Bourne taking on Dark State, or Deuces and Jokers. Pretty good match. Leon and Javon Javon went nuts. Almost hit Corey Slave and Vic Joseph on a dive. He went zoom, and he went, whoa, shit! Almost killed him. We don't have commentary. He might have to call me. on the spot. He went, shit! Joseph, get down here! I'm like, okay. Be down. Give me the next flight, I'll be down there in the morning. So, wait, they're live next week. Oh, it's from... I thought Winter Was Coming was from Wales. Well, it's live next week from Atlanta, GA. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA! Doom, doom, doom. Alright, so, Joe and Eddie got amazing promos on each other. And we'll see what happens next Wednesday night on the program for the AEW World Title. And now, we're getting the Gold League leaderboard. We got Pac, Moxley, and Claudio in the same league at 3 points. Okada's going to take on Pac tonight. Kyle Fletcher is going to take on Kevin Knight, who beat Darby. Kevin Knight has 3 points. Moxley's in the yellow league. I'm sorry, blue league. So Moxley, Claudio, and Takeshita had 3 points. Everybody else, like Roddy, Moscow Dorada, and Orange Cassidy, they're at 0. Claudio and Moxley are going to fight tonight. That should be epic. Dean Ambrose and, Cesaro. That'd be great. We got that Holiday Hardcore Death Match tonight between the Mega Problems, Marina Shafir, and Megan Bayne. And they're taking on Timeless Tony Storm, darling, and my fourth amazingly hot Asian wife, Mina. That's going to be brutal, and maybe some blood. We'll see. I'm not talking about period blood. And that's that. Now we got a promo from the other members of the Ops. Hook he has Prince Nana's coffee. I don't know, but... And Will Hobbs, and Mr. Speak and Spell Shibata. So they got some business to attend to tonight. And talk about everybody's gunning for the Trios titles. So, Hobbs like, we're going to sprinkle a little holiday cheer in this place. And he talked about last night's Ring of Honor. Oh, I forgot Ring of Honor was on last night. It was that special episode, so I might have to do two videos. Well, not 2 videos, 2 reviews for that, in one video, so. So they're taking on some friends of Shibata, whoever that is. And they praise themselves. And we get that. Alright, so our first actual match of the evening after 12 minutes of spiel. So we got the Death Riders coming out. So, Pac's gonna come out, and he's gonna be taking on Okada! And see if Okada can get, points, because if he does not get to the finals, he loses the unified title. He gave up the Continental title. So, if he doesn't make it to the finals, he loses all of that shit. But if he gets to the finals and loses, I don't know if he loses the unified title as well. I don't know how that works if he does get to the finals and loses, most likely to the Takeshita. Because they're in different... That's the way the tournament is looking to me. Takeshita and Okada at World's End for the Continental Classic title, or the Continental title, or / the Unified title. Alright, so here comes Frodo from Lord of the Rings. All jacked up. I mean, freaking, I never saw Neville, as we know him, or now Pac. I never saw him this jacked in my life. Even in PWG and Ring of Honor a little bit. But he got jacked. Like, he went to the gym when he was injured. Or, he's taking those steroids. Oh, we got that. Alright. So we get to the main event. 8-man tag. Pretty good match. And then, it went too far in my notes. But in the end, like I said, Leon and Javon going completely nuts with flippy dippity doos. I think it was Leon or Javon were trying to go for the cover, and then Miles, still call him Ozzy Osbourne, blind tags in. And then Javon and Leon like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Miles is like, guess what I'm doing? Hits the zigzag, or Bourne again, with basically the zigzag from our good buddy Nick Nemeth, who parked the hell out of East's car. He did. He was telling himself, and, his little brother Ryan Nemeth, my big brother parked the hell out of that car. Pretty much. Alright, so Miles hits Bourne again on Dion Lennox, gets the win, and he will now choose where in the Iron Survivor match he comes out. He can come out first, he can come out last, he can come in third, fourth, second, who knows. But if I'm Miles, I'm coming out last. Well, I would come out, actually I'd come out in the middle because, you have a better chance to get some, points at least, or pinfalls. Instead of coming out last, and basically you have 5 minutes left to get as many pins as you can. So it works good, it works bad. It's like a double-edged sword. Alright, so Miles gets the win, and then everybody's like, what the fuck? That's it. Then we end the show properly with Ava Raine talking to Ricky Starks and Oba. They sign the contract. Oba says, this version is going to destroy you. And Ricky's like, well, I beat you once, I'll beat you again. And then in the background, if anybody knows, in the background behind Ava with the TV, we saw a picture of a bridge. I wonder what, and we've seen that bridge before, if you follow my cousin Tony D'Angelo's career. Tony D'Angelo, my cousin's coming back, most likely, at Deadline, and I can't wait. My cousin's coming back. What's going on, cuz? He can't come out right now. He's cooking me some calamari. I'm going to have that for dinner. Me and the missus going to have some calamari. And when he makes it, not as great as another place here in Brooklyn that makes great calamari and chicken parm. But when he makes it, top-notch Italian cooking, my friend. So we're going to eat some calamari soon. We're going to watch some Dynamite. Maybe watch some Netflix and chill. Get the business done. And we'll see what happens with that. So anyway, NXT was kind of mid-ish. But I still gave it 6.5 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And like Trick Woody would say, let's talk about it. And that's it. Alright, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. I might be back later with your Ring of Honor review over on my main channel, Killer Demon 669. So, triple threat tonight on your Wednesday, December the 3rd. And that's that. Check out my Ozzy Osbourne birthday tribute video over on my Metal Guy channel. Link will be down below in the gobbledygook. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Alright, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.